The CEO Mindset is brought to you by
Hill & Company 12 Event Design.
You are now tuned into the CEO Mindset, bringing you trending topics that will engage you to level up in your business while equipping you to maximize your business opportunities and empower you to boldly step into your business brand and be more visible. This is the CEO Mindset. A CEO is bold, optimistic, vibrant, and successful, leaving a legacy, spreading money-making vibes with a wealth mindset to match her grind. She dreams big. CEOs have no limitations, and when obstacles come, they knock them down gracious. Choosing her own path, a CEO never lowers her aim for someone else's gain. She's wise in her steps. CEOs move in silence, breaking barriers, running businesses, securing the bag, making investments, creating perfect credit. Now that's the CEO Mindset.
Welcome to the CEO Mindset. I'm Nicole Gates, your brandologist.
And I'm Katrina Kimball, your wellness consultant.
And each week we come to you to engage you, equip you, and empower you to level up in your business and walk boldly in your business brand.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So this week, we always start our week with wine.
Absolutely.
Are you guys tired of the wine? I know you're not. Wine down with us. So This week, I just brought some basic wine, right? Yep. Wine that you can buy in any store.
Yeah.
This wine is actually a Cabernet Sauvignon, my favorite. Red wine. Don't frown too much, Katrina.
I'm not.
Everybody knows that Katrina doesn't like red wine.
But red is my favorite color. So
red is her favorite.
So we are in sync today. We're good today. We're in sync today.
So red wine. Tell us the health benefits, because I know you know.
Well, of course, red wine is really good for your heart. You know, it's a good antioxidant for your body. Anything that's red, eating red foods such as strawberries, tomatoes, anything enriched with red is a good antioxidant. It is good for your heart. And we know that heart disease is a leading cause of death for Black women and for women in general. So anytime you can get your hands on anything red, including putting red onions in your food when you're cooking, because I know you're going to talk about pairing it with different foods, but using red onion when you cook, using tomatoes, using a red pasta base, any of those things, just be mindful of the salt intake. But those are all things that are really good for your heart, and it helps build up your immune system also.
And you can also add some red wine to that red sauce.
Absolutely.
So I always tell everybody, red wine, red sauce, red meats, right, typically are good pairings with a red wine. Cabernet Sauvignon, basic wine. You'll find it at networking events a lot.
Yeah.
It's either usually a Cabernet Sauvignon or a Merlot.
Yes, that's true.
Typically what you're going to find, or a white wine, and then, beer. So I always like to share this with our clients. But we have grapes, and I'm glad you brought grapes today.
Yes.
Because I love to talk about grapes. This is a good topic. So a lot of people don't understand that actually wine is made from grapes, right?
Yeah.
So having grapes at a wine tasting is like taboo. Not supposed to do that. You know why? It makes the wine bitter.
Yep.
That makes the wine bitter. You ever hear people say like, oh, this wine is so bitter. So pairing is so incredibly important. Red wine goes well with chocolate. We know dark chocolate actually is a great marriage for a red wine.
Yeah.
And dark chocolate is also an antioxidant. It's also heart healthy.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like dark chocolate, but trust me. If you
try it,
yeah. Just try it.
Yeah,
just give it a
and
try.
you'll get used to that taste.
Absolutely. I think you have Colby.
We have Colby
Jack, and we have cheddar. Cheddar cheese is amazing. Absolutely amazing, because cheddar cheese tends to be a little sharp, wonderful with a Cabernet Sauvignon. I always make lasagna, and I love to add some red wine to my sauce.
To the sauce when you make your lasagna?
Absolutely, and I always use like a cheddar cheese, a mozzarella cheese. Wonderful. Try it. You got to try it. You guys got to try it. So today, our topic is be,
do,
have. Interesting topic, huh?
Well, and I know we often hear that. I know you can go into different places such as Pier 1, or even when you go into places like Michael, you'll see signs that says be, do, have. And you're like, well, what does that mean? And we're going to kind of dive into that, because I really think it depends on where you are and what stage you are in your business.
Absolutely.
Where you are in your walk of your life. Because sometimes be, do, have is sometimes just getting through the day. And I think sometimes as business owners, we put so much pressure on ourselves to be so productive and make sure every day I'm doing something and making sure every opportunity I'm jumping on it. And sometimes we just have to kind of step back and do some assessments. And I think that's what we want to do today, because we've been doing this program, and every day we try to get, every time we have a session, we do a topic, and we try to help grow your business. But in doing that, you also want to make sure you're taking care of yourself. And so often as women that have businesses, we tend to, even though we have a planner and a calendar, and we've got it on the tablet and on the, we still tend to overextend ourselves. So we want to invite you to grab your journal, as always, get your pen, get your nice glass of wine, and come spend some time with us as we talk about what it means to be, do, have, especially in 2020.
Right. So listen, when I saw be, do, have, I was like, oh my God, that is like a checklist, right? So you can kind of create a checklist for yourself.
Absolutely.
You know, you said, you know, we kind of have to be accountable for our own health, right? Yeah. This is kind of a checklist. Be what? Do what? Have what?
And
right?
And that's what we're going to really dive off into this as we have this conversation, because it really goes back to who you are. And it goes back to, and those are the questions we don't like to address a lot of times.
We don't.
It's really
Nobody wants to look at themselves.
Of course not. It's easy for me to have a plan for my business.
Sure.
And go through this checklist. Okay, I've done this, and I've done this. But when was the last time you sat down and did a checklist for yourself? And it's uncomfortable, but it's something that we need to do. I encourage people to try to do at least every 3 months, because, you know, a lot of times people have New Year resolutions and we don't keep them up. We want to invite you to come back as we continue to dive into be, do, have, which is our topic today, because we realize that sometimes you're making excuses and sometimes you may not realize your full potential because you're so distracted with your business. So we want to invite you to come back and join us as we continue the CEO Mindset.
The Fruition Complex is a community of forward-thinking creatives and professionals who share a common goal of owning and operating a successful business. The Fruition Complex offers its members access to a collaborative work environment, invaluable networking opportunities, and a list of business development services. Call today, 901-779-2385. It's time to pop some flair into your style at Iona's Closet. Wonderful clothes and outstanding customer service. A wide selection of casual and consignment clothes for the woman of style at Iona's Closet in Memphis. Royalty Wellness Spa is committed to providing you with a quality service in an intimate and friendly environment. They offer anti-aging medical treatments that improve the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles, fill lips, voluminize cheeks, and improve deep folds. They also offer treatments that can improve energy, decrease fat, and improve hair, skin, and nails. Call 901-779-2385. Make a statement without saying a word. Neckology 101 is a leading provider of eclectic and unique neck art in the form of jewelry. They provide an unparalleled selection of quality products, an easy shopping experience, expedited shipping offers, and exceptional customer service. Check out their collection online today.
Are your excuses louder than your dream? It is a daily challenge to hear the whisper of your dream over the noise of life. As entrepreneurs, we are in a constant battle to stand out from others. To help you stay focused, ask yourself a few questions. A. B. What is your character or personality? Does it align with the goals of your business? B. Do. How do you work? How are you different than others? C. Have. What are your activities or action results? Are you investing in yourself and support team? Your front row people? As you continue to move forward, realize all have excuses. Sometimes the excuses win, but always go back to the dream. What is the purpose and the plan for my business? Be, do, have.
So the question today, Katrina, is, are your dreams louder than your excuses? So we're talking about be, do, have. So let's dissect this, right?
Okay.
So the B is your personality, your character, how people perceive you, so to speak. So I think the B, if I was making a checklist, would have to be, am I being the person that I say I am in business, right? If my business is an event planner, if I'm an event planner, am I being an event planner? Do I look like an event planner? What does that look like? What does that character bring? As an event planner, I think you have to have high energy, right? Because you have to hype people up for the event that you're trying to, put on, or the event that you may be doing for them, right? So I think your character, your personality comes into play. When you're building a brand, that's huge. That is like
it's an
really your
part.
brand, so to speak, right?
And then also with the B part that's important too is as you're building your brand and your personality, also look at your team. You know, it's important when you collaborate. I believe so much in collaboration because I know I'm never going to be the smartest girl in the room. Right. You can always get more done. There's an African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, let's go together. And I believe that is that I can get more done when I have people sitting around the table that are like-minded as me and that we are working towards something together. But so often when it comes to your character and your personality, that person may not be a direct reflection of you.
Absolutely.
And you have to know that when you go into business and be real clear, you know, what type of business have. Like, for example, you were talking about event planning. I would never be an event planner, because that's just not my strong suit. Right. I'm really good behind the scenes. I'm real good at writing. I like writing. I like working at events. I'm great at greeting people and welcoming them in. But as doing the logistics and all that,
your role.
And that's the thing is, that's the most important part about the B part is really knowing who you are and knowing your strengths. So often we will collaborate and work with people, and it sounds really good, like a real good opportunity. But that just may not be really what's in your character or in your personality. And I'll speak from experience because I tend to do a lot of teaching and workshops, and I've had people to reach out to me and say, hey, I want you to come and do this. But it was so not a good fit for me. Right. And I put my time and energy into that, and it blew up in my face.
So being able to assess that, but I love what you said about being able to, look at your team and see if your team is bringing, because your team has to bring that same amount of energy, that same amount of grit, that same amount of grind that you bring to the table. You want your team to have that same passion, that same spirit. And I think that's important. And I think one thing that we do as business owners, we don't like to look at that.
Yeah, and
we don't want to, because it might be a friend that I hired, or it might be, family member.
But you got to go back to the skill set, and that's why the B part is so important. Is it's not just looking at my personal relationship, but let's look at your skill set.
Absolutely.
What do you bring to the table? Sure. What are you going to contribute to what we're building? And it may not be a good fit, and it's okay. But when you are sure of who you are, and you are so secure in who you are, what you're driving to build, what you're wanting to gain, then it's okay to work through that. Which leads us to the part about the do. The do part is just as important as how do you do your work? How do you show up at your work? What makes you different than other people? There can be 10 different event planners in your city. What are you doing that's separating you from the other person? What is there is so unique about you that people will want to come and work with you? And let's be honest, everybody's not going to be your client. No, and everybody should not be your client.
You don't want everybody.
And you don't want everybody.
And I said this before in one of our previous episodes. I talked about the fact that sometimes you have to be willing to not do work with certain people.
Absolutely.
I turn down people all the time, and I absolutely, positively have no problem with that. Yeah. I think they'll better appreciate that, but you can't work with or work for everybody.
Absolutely,
right?
You can't. And that's why it's important that not only you know who I am, which is connected to the B, but the do. How do I do what I do? How do I do what I do that separates me from other people? Okay. Because it doesn't matter about, a lot of times people put so much into technology. And don't get me wrong, technology is important. It's great to have a good website. Right. You want to have a good answering service. You want to make sure you have all the bells and whistles on your website. But when you get away from that If all of that went away, and this is the question I always pose, if all of that went away, would you still want to do business with me?
Absolutely.
Would I still want to do business with you? And that's a hard question because people don't like to look at that.
We don't even want to look in the mirror. I said, during our commercial break that we should have advised you all to bring a mirror with you. Because sometimes we don't like to look in the mirror. We don't like to see certain things. I think we have an image in our head of how our business is and, what people perceive it to be. But sometimes I think you are remiss if you don't go back and look at that business, your brand. Are you really repping your brand?
Yeah.
Because we rep everybody else's brand well, right?
That is so true.
But are you repping your own brand?
Yeah. And are you putting that time in to look at how you do your work, assess what needs to change? Because sometimes you may have been doing a process that works really well when you first got started, but maybe your business has picked up and maybe you've gained a couple additional clients. You may have to shift the process, or you may have to just scrap that process and start our way over.
And I like what you said about knowing what you do different than others, right? Because I think that's what keeps us ahead of the game. And like we said, we always want to have the opportunity to share tips and things that's going to keep you on the cutting edge. We want to keep you on the cutting edge of whatever your industry is. But looking at what you do different and how you do it different, I think is the key.
Absolutely.
So after we have our commercial break, I want to break down the have, because I think people are probably like, B, do have. What's the have? So after the commercial break, we'll come back. We'll talk about have. What does that mean for you and your business brand?
So make sure you come back and join us as we continue the CEO Mindset.
Align Therapy is a full-service community-based rehabilitation clinic specializing in manual therapy. They provide a more personalized experience for their clients. Align Therapy's goal is to help their patients become their best selves. Call 901-877-2244. Awaken Wellness Consulting mission is to aim, advocate, inform, and motivate individuals to engage in whole person wellness to address real-life challenges. Awaken Wellness Consulting strives to equip and empower individuals in the world to discover whole person wellness. Ready to change your life? Book a consultation at awakenwellnessconsulting.com. Wine? Because it's not good to keep things all bottled up. Enjoy the lifestyle of all things uncorked, especially when you're wine touring with Gates Uncorked. Gates Uncorked invites you to wind down and host your very own private in-home wine tasting with family and friends. Call 901-466-6703 to book today. 1015 Take the Shot Studios offers photography, shooting real-time moments, creating lifetime memories, and videography, connecting the dots, linking the past, creating the tapestry of the future. 1015 Take the Shot Studios, a visual storyteller in Memphis. At Christy Taylor Consulting, we understand that consulting and coaching is key to your success. We provide insight and creative strategies in the areas of radio, TV, film, and music. We assist creative entrepreneurs and businesses with professional and personal development. Within our media training division, we offer entertainers and executives tailored programs to identify one's personal narrative, craft a compelling message, prep for media interviews, and public speaking. For your client discovery session, go to ChristyTaylorConsulting.com.
Years, David. The time you served was nothing compared to the time that you weren't here.
Look, I'm out here with both hands tied behind my back, trying to make things right. Denise! No!
Hi, I'm Rod Kirby, and I'm a screenwriter, director, and producer here in Memphis, Tennessee. After completing my last short film in 2016, an interesting idea popped into my head. What if a father and son had to fight for their lives after the rapturing of the saints? The Bible talks about an event where believers are spared from destruction and the horrors of the end times. This event, the rapture as it's commonly known, sees Jesus return to earth, taking believers with him and leaving sinners behind to face the apocalypse. I started working on the script for this idea during the summer of 2016. However, I got stuck on developing a proper ending and let it sit on the shelf for 3 years. Since then, I've been working full-time as a corporate videographer, producing other projects within the Memphis film community, and I earned my master's degree in entertainment business from Full Sail University. Now, while things were going well professionally, artistically, I was in a rut. I had a burning desire to finish the script, but I didn't know how. Then, something miraculous happened. The perfect ending for the film came to me in a dream. I woke up, started jotting down ideas, and before I knew it, I was ready to dive in and finish the story. The Prayer is a faith-based drama and thriller that follows the story of a man whose wife and daughter are taken to heaven during the rapture. He's left behind along with his son to pick up the pieces after they're gone. Years later, they must fight for their lives when they're visited by a partially blind psychopath who infiltrates their home by impersonating a minister. The Prayer is a dark and gritty exploration of what happens when we're forced to confront our sin and what it takes to earn redemption. After finishing the script last year, I saved a little money to start production on The Prayer. We were able to shoot the first half of the film early this year. Now we need your help to finish production in order to submit our project to film festivals. We need money for additional casting, production costs, and finishing funds for post-production. I want to personally invite you to join us in the making of The Prayer. If you're a fan of faith-based films like the Left Behind series, thrillers like Frailty, or tense family dramas, then this is the movie for you. We're raising production funds with the help of a platform called Seed and Spark. We have to raise 80% of our funding goal in order to receive money to complete The Prayer. Please consider pledging just a few dollars to help us reach our goal. Thanks for watching.
So currently we're in a pandemic, right? And so the have of this be-do have is how are you preparing yourself for the future?
Yeah.
What are you doing that's gonna make you stand out amongst your peers in the same industry?
Absolutely.
What are you investing in? And this is a hot topic. I know we talked about this.
Yeah.
And we talked about the have. Are you making that investment in yourself? Are you willing to pay people for the services that you're receiving? Because you can't barter all the time.
No, some things you just have to pay for.
You just can't, yeah. And you have to be willing to do that. So I think that's part of personal and professional development.
Absolutely.
But I really want to talk about that because that can make or break a brand. I truly believe if you are always looking for people to help you build your brand, but you're not willing to pay for the services, I got a serious problem with that. So,
and I think that's showing up with, like you said, with the pandemic, with everything that's going on around COVID-19. You can see where some companies are still continuing to grow. Even with everything, some companies are growing.
Are blossoming.
They are blossoming. Some people are starting new businesses. Some businesses are maintaining, and then some businesses are closing. Because I think when it comes to the have part is really being able to make those changes and being able to invest in your business and diversify. Because, we talk about having multiple streams of income.
Absolutely.
How can I take what I have and duplicate it? And I always go back to, again, I like Oprah. I have nothing against Oprah. I think she's a great person. But I think if you really look at what she did, she took the one skill set she had and that she's excellent at, which is communications. She went from interviewing people on television to having a talk show to having a magazine to having a company, to now she's producing movies. But if you look at the basis of everything she did, it all goes back to communication.
Absolutely.
She took her written and her verbal communication and built an empire from it. And so I think this would be a great time for us that are small business owners to ask ourselves, what do I have right now that I'm not monetizing? What is it that I have that I can offer? And that's the thing we have to understand. There are people that are willing to pay for things that you have to offer. It could be something as simple as, I have a friend that does virtual assistant. Her business is booming because guess what? A lot of offices are closed right now. So guess what she's doing? She's answering phones for people. She is still typing and doing word processing for people.
It was a blessing. The pandemic probably
the pandemic
has
been a blessing for her because her business has blown up because at one time she was struggling to have customers. Most of her business actually is out of Atlanta and she does a lot of work out of Chicago. But now she's getting business from everywhere because offices are closing.
I think one of the things that's happened with the pandemic, it has forced us, in regards to the have, it's forced us to look at what other marketable skills do I have, right? And I think we should always be looking at what marketable skills do we have. I'm a firm believer in several streams of income because they're not always going to be working at the same time, but you have something to always fall back on in the case of a pandemic, right?
Absolutely.
So a lot of people have totally taken it and have like, oh my gosh, I looked at a friend of mine's Facebook page just today, just this morning, and in one day she did a sale and she made over $79,000 in one day.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you can't tell me people aren't spending money.
Yeah.
But we just need to know what is, right now we're in this pandemic. So if this is not working for my business because I'm an event planner and I can't do events because we're social distancing, what else do I have? What else do I have that's marketable that people need right now?
And I think that's when it goes to the acronym PLAN. I mean, we're going to talk about PLAN. And the first thing is with the P, you have to put things down. You have to track your day and track your dollar. What did you do today that generated income for your business? You know, we've talked about this.
Track your day, track your dollar.
Yeah, track your day, track your dollar. P, you got to put it down. Whether you're writing it down in a notebook or you're putting it on a spreadsheet, you have to put it down so you'll know where you are. Then the next one, of course, is the letter L.
So L is being able to learn from others, listen to others, and really apply it to your business.
Absolutely.
You know, we have to change. I don't think any business that started off is if it's still in the same place, I question that.
Yeah.
You know, you might want to reevaluate. But I think you should always be listening to others. Right now, they have a ton of free workshops, webinars, and classes that would cost you $1,500. You can get for free. You know, so being able to access that, utilize that, and apply it to your business is powerful.
Absolutely.
Use that right now. What's the A?
A is you have to acknowledge where you are right now. You know, maybe your business is not at a point, well, you know, I can grow in one area. Then focus on that one area. I think sometimes we feel like we have to be doing several things at several times. Yeah. And that's really not how it works. The consistency is when you find the one good thing and you continue to build on it. So just acknowledge where you are right now and just be willing to make any adaptable changes that you can. Absolutely. Because some things you just can't change. I mean, some things with the pandemic you're not going to be able to change, but the things that you can, just be willing to do the work to do that.
And that's the N. So the N is navigate change. You need to be able to navigate change. And I think that comes with being flexible, understanding who you are, what you do, what service you offer, how it benefits your client, right? So many pieces to it. Simple pieces, but it's part of a bigger plan.
And I think we have to be honest and realize that everybody is navigating change. Change is the one thing, no matter what your business is, you're going to have that. And we just have to be comfortable with the change.
Absolutely. As we wrap up this episode, we want to remind you to always remember where you started, celebrate where you are, focus on where you're going, and always, always, always trust the process.
And again, we want to thank you for joining us for the CEO Mindset today. We invite you to come back next week as we continue to have trending topics and tips to help you to grow your business.
The CEO Mindset is brought to you by
Hill & Company 12 Event Design.